What's on, where and when. It's the Talk of Nelson. Talk Nelson Radio.
Welcome to Football Focus, Episode 5, where we cover all things football in the top of the South. I'm Chris Butler, and it's welcome back to my partner in crime, Paul Bryden. How are you, mate? Going
Very
all right?
good, Chris. Yes, very good.
Had a bit of a rest on the weekend.
Yes, we did. A bit wet. Probably could have played, but the pitches were a bit poured down Friday night.
Yeah.
In hindsight, everyone goes to me, it's funny. People go, well, how come rugby played?
Well, they did.
Rugby play with their hands. We're going to play with our feet.
Yeah.
And
the
it's a
ball
bit
goes
different,
nowhere.
you know,
That's
so
true.
it's,
Very true.
Yeah, so weekend off.
Our very special guest is Ryan Skippy Stewart, they call him, Neil Connell, who are the co-coaches of Nelson Suburbs Southern League men's team. Welcome, guys. Great to have you here.
Great to be here, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, Chris. Been watching the podcast each and every other week, and you do a great job, so it's good to be part of it.
Look
Thanks
at
for
that,
getting us
Bridie.
along.
Well, it's football, local football. Isn't it? Someone's got to do something because there's no newspapers anymore.
Very true, very true.
There's Murray landing on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Does he
Yeah, he
talk
still
about
does it, I think.
Yeah, Bigsy. I think
Well,
Bigsy's
Bigsy
on that
comes
one.
on, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, it's
Not a
only
lot.
a small spot, so this is an opportunity for us to go in depth. Okay, on today's show, we're going to be talking about men's and women's local premiership. Actually, it's cup rounds, knockout cup rounds, Southern League men's and women's, some overseas news, the transfer window still going strong and friendly this week as well. New Zealand football news, quite a bit happening there. And, of course, the FIFA Women's World Cup on the way. And we're going to have a chat to these lads about where they're from, who they support, and their great football careers. Nelson Pine Senior Women's Premiership, and it was rained out, unfortunately, last week. And this week, not all teams get to play because it's the draw for the Knockout Cups, and Nelson Suburbs FC Swans taking on the Nelson Wahine. So they're getting all prepared for that. It is at Saxon Field. So what are your thoughts about that one?
Well,
lots of practice during the week, or
well, I don't want to put you wrong here, Chris, but that game's actually been played.
oh, is it already?
Yeah, they did a double header a couple of weeks ago, which I refereed the first half. Two for them, and I think the Wahine won that 3-0. I think.
So officially,
my daughter got 2 goals in it.
Ah.
Yeah, so the Wahine are actually in the final.
Right.
So that game's been played, but I think there is a game tomorrow, and it's between the Foxes and. Is it Suburbs Reserve?
It might be the under 21 girls.
Is it? Oh, okay. So I must have.
That's that semi-final that hasn't been played.
I see. Right, gotcha.
That's being played. I'm not sure. Obviously, Saxton's or Jubilee Park.
Right. Okay. Well, that didn't.
So the Wahine are actually in the final. So
cool.
Considering where they're going in the league, they've actually done quite well.
Yeah.
They beat Mott and Suburbs Swans.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nelson Pine Men's Premiership Division 1, and it's the Price Charity Cup. There are other knockout cups, but we've got quite a bit to get through, so we'll concentrate on that. 2 games. Rangers taking on Motueka. So that's a home game. So what are your thoughts on that one, Bridie?
Well, it's over in Blenheim. You just don't win there, son. You're playing against 12 or 13 every week, and unfortunately...
He always says that.
Well, that's true.
Wasn't that when I was playing there? I can assure you that.
No.
Well, those days, we used to be at top of the South League, didn't we? So you had Trojans and other teams, so it was a bit easier, but it's quite difficult. Look, don't get me wrong, Rangers are quite a good side. They'll win that tomorrow.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts, Skippy?
Again, we played Motueka in the Chatham Cup. Again, the scoreline flattered us a bit, but again, they weren't that bad a side, to be honest. I think Brady's played them a few times, and it just depends what Motueka turns up, to be honest. If they're full strength, then they'll be good. And then if they're not, then it could be things. But I'm the same as Brady. I think Rangers at home is just too strong.
Neil, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't get away from that. I'll go for Rangers at home. I played over there for a while before I moved to Nelson, and changed a little bit since then the football, but Rangers at home strong, and I think they just have a little bit too much for them in the end.
The other game, Tahuna against Richmond. Tahuna 10-0 against Richmond during the season, but I think things have evened out a bit. So we'll go the other way around. Neil, what are your thoughts about that game?
Which one was that? Sorry.
So Tahuna versus Richmond.
I think that'll be a good game, actually. I think, but very competitive. Could go either way, looking at it.
Tahuna on the home patch.
Tahuna on the home patch. Just about to say, I think Tahuna might just scrape through that one. I'll go 2-1 Tahuna.
There you go. Skippy.
Just speaking to young Joe Robinson, the goalkeeper for Tahuna. He works at the New Road just around the corner from the house. He sort of said when they won 10-0, it was one of those games with everything they hit went in the net. I think it'll be a lot closer this time. Yeah. And I do think Richmond will get up for it. I think Joe will get the young boys up for it. And I think I'm going to go Richmond on that one.
Yeah. You played them the week after their thrashing at Richmond at home. And that was a 1-0 win with a penalty at the end of the game. So
2 weeks in a row, we got penalties in the end, but it was actually a pen. Richmond did well that day, but we knew that'd be tough. Look, they're quite well organised. The coach out there, I can't remember his name. He does a good job with them. A lot of young guys, but they, I think, as the lad said, it won't be 10-0 again. And the only problem, you play Tahuna, we always struggle out there because the pitch is on an angle. It's sort of, and it's you lose your mojo a wee bit there. But I'm picking probably Tahuna to win that.
Yeah, right. There you go. All right, Southern League women, and they had a rest last week because of Kate Shepherd Cup, in actual fact. And we went through the results last week, but the draw. So we had Geezer in the other week, and it seems to be going very well with the young side. So Nelson Suburbs taking on Otago University, probably a bit more evenly matched. So your thoughts on the women's side? So you guys get to see a bit of those games?
I have. Yeah. I've watched quite a bit. Obviously, when we're at home, we get to watch it. It's nice to go down and give them a bit of support. Geezer and Phil do a great job there. The girls are fully committed as well. Just looking at that one, I think Suburbs probably going to. I think they've got enough to win that game. Otago University's, next just above them in the league, but. The way that the girls play football, especially at Saxons, I'm going to go for Suburbs home win there.
Good stuff. And Skippy, before we do the next game, your thoughts on the women's side?
Oh, yeah. Again, it's something that we've wanted at the club for a few years, and we've had good support from other clubs in the region, not just us trying to do it, but people supporting that we need a top-level women's team from the region, and it's great to actually finally get it going. So it's took a lot of work, but we've got there, and we found Geezer and Phil who have came in and done brilliant job in getting these girls together. So
do they fly to the games?
They do now, Brady. So so when you qualify for the Southern League, New Zealand football come to the party a little bit.
Oh, nice.
So I think the long-term plan for New Zealand football is it to pretty much mirror what the men's leagues are now. So at the moment we've still got Canterbury Pride as a national league team. In a couple of years, I think that might go away and it'll go back to club-based, a bit like the men. So now as a club and as a member and a supporter of them, I think they're doing really, really well. I think they've been unlucky in games, and I think naivety has let them down a little bit. But I think this week, after a few of the girls have been away at tournament and won a tournament, there'll be a bit of confidence in the camp, and I can see them turning them over, to be honest.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, Dunedin City Royals taking on Universities of Canterbury. So we'll get you to pick that one, Skippy. Tough one.
Yeah. Dunedin are funny. They can be brilliant, but again, the uni break. So you always have to think about university when you talk about Dunedin teams.
School holidays, isn't it?
Yeah, so a lot of their girls, their stronger girls, Hannah Mackay-Wright, who's originally from Nelson. I think she's back in Golden Bay at the moment, so I don't know if she'll play. They've got a couple of girls from Auckland. Yeah, it's a tough one, but I'll probably just go with the Royals because of what they've been doing previously, but I don't think it'll be their strongest team, but it'll be interesting to see how they go. But yeah, I'll go Dunedin.
Okay, Coastal Spirit taking on Kashmir Tech at English Park, Bridie.
Well, Tech are unbeaten, aren't they?
Yeah.
Coastal Spirit, I think they beat the Suburbs girls 6-0, didn't they, up here? So they're obviously, from what I heard in the attacking third, they look pretty sharp. So you'd have to fancy Tech there, though. They're unbeaten team, so I'd go Tech. Yeah. But that'd be a good game to watch. If I was in Christchurch, I'd probably go along and watch that. It'd be good.
Cash Tech, Dunedin City Royals and Coastal Spirit are the top three, but it's early days and it's 2 rounds. So if Nelson Suburbs can get a win on the board, you never know, do you? So, and then I guess, is there any talk about National League? I mean, the top 2 in the Southern League go through to the Nationals. Is there some talk around that for the Women's League?
At the moment, our teams don't have the opportunity to do that because of the Canterbury Pride. But again,
gotcha.
Yeah, so if it is something, it is something we'd definitely love to do and push it. But again, as a club, we're very happy that the girls have done what they've done and got to the Southern League, which is a massive achievement for them in the first season.
Yeah. So just on that Women's National League, so you got the mainland Pride, Canterbury Pride. Will the other teams? Is it like Central, Capital
Yeah, so Capital still run, but the Auckland leagues have gone to clubs.
Oh, okay.
It's quite strange. So Western, so they've taken out Northern football.
Yeah.
Auckland football have now come out of it, and now it's been given to the clubs. Yeah. So I think Wellington's the next move to go club, and then it'll be the South. Okay. Yeah.
But those Suburbs girls, they're a very young side as well. You very remember first, a lot of them first time playing at this level, and they've stepped up. They play some good football, and they've took 1 or 2 beatings, but they're only just going to get better. We've got a lot of really young girls in there, 15, 14 some, and they're playing for the reserves, and some of them have got quite a bit of ability. And there's some. I think the senior player's Anna McPhee now, and
she's only 23.
She's 23 years old, So fair play to them. It's just a great experience, great for the region as well to get something for the younger girls to aspire to as well. So yeah, they I think the next round or so they might find the feet a little bit and hopefully finish. You always look at Coastal and Cass Tech, 2 strongest teams. Royals can be, but there's no reason why they can't finish anywhere around that top 4, maybe 3rd or 4th.
The good thing about that, so you'll have them here for the next.
That's the thing,
2 or 3 years before they go to varsity. It's quite funny because senior men's football, you got to be 15 to play.
Exactly.
Yeah. Where the girls seem to at 14.
14, I think we can get dispensation.
Yeah, exactly. So
some of them are good enough, so why not?
I totally agree. I think it should be the same for lads as well. It's like this young lad Ronan who played. He got the goal scoring.
Oh yeah, the golden boot.
He's 13.
He's very good.
He's very good.
We try to get him to come to play tomorrow against our reserves and your reserves in a friendly, but his parents have sort of said, "Oh, just leave it at this stage." But the guys, he's a big boy.
Yeah.
But they've got to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To once they get into that level, say if they're not comfortable about it. When I was 15, I was playing National League. I wanted to, but a lot of kids don't. So but the girls are doing well. Excellent.
Yeah. Southern League men, and the lineup for most of the games have been played tomorrow. So at the time that this is recorded, so being Friday, and we'll start off with you, Bridie, because Nelson Suburbs is the next game, so we'll get the lads to talk about that one. But Ferrymead Bay is taking on Dunedin City Royals at Ferrymead Park.
Yeah, that's Koe Taripa.
Yes, the old nephew.
Yeah, well, that'll be a tough game for Ferrymead. I'd say Dunedin not a bad side, are they? Well,
yeah, I must admit the last couple of weeks I think they've just had injuries, and I think they've had a few players away again, holidays, the school holidays. So I don't think they've been at full strength.
Well, I watched them play you guys here earlier in the season. What was the score?
1-1.
1-1.
I thought they were quite good.
Yeah.
And then I watched Nomads score
1-1.
You should have beaten them.
Should have beaten them.
They're a different level to Dunedin City. So. But as you say, it's consistency, mate. Sometimes it's a marathon, not a race. You know what I mean? So you've got to. What Murray Scott say? You don't. Bart Cummings said you don't win the Melbourne Cup in June. You know what I mean? It's true. It's all about.
It is very true.
So you got to. Sometimes you got to, just drift along and have the odd week off, stuff like that. But I would pick. As you say, Skippy, you boys should have beaten them last week from what I heard. I'm taking Ferrymead Bays.
Well, good stuff. And actually, we'll come back to Nelson Suburbs because we've got a bit to talk about with the season. Skippy, Kashmir Tech taking on Coastal Spirit.
Yeah, Kashmir, again, I was at the game on Sunday in the Chatham Cup. They lost 3-0 to Christchurch United. It was a really, really competitive first half, but Cash Tech ran out of players. Yeah, the subs bench, they were bringing young lads on. Christchurch United were bringing on experienced lads, and that's what undid them. So I think Tech will be back this week to try to get a win, but Coastal are very good at sitting in deep and making teams try to break them down. So I think it'll be a tough one, but I think Tech will win it, but I don't think it'll be as one-sided as people will think.
All right, Neil, FC20 taking on Nomads. That's at Avonhead Park.
Yeah, important game that for both sides. 2011 bottom of the league. Yeah, we played them down there, and we were very good that day. Actually, we think it was 6-0. We won that.
Yeah.
Paul's just mentioned Nomads at home. What was the funny one for us? Nomads, young side, technically quite good. Looking at that, I would have to go Nomads. I think 2011 are struggling a little bit. We were watching them just as a bit of analysis the other day against Green Island. Green Island put them away as well. So. Yeah, I'm going to go Nomads for that one, I think.
Christchurch United taking on Selwyn at United Sports Centre.
Oh, United every day of the week. Well, they beat 2-3.
I was even going to take that one.
Well, what Skippy said, I think they just got too much depth and quality. They're probably all getting paid. They're virtually just about, semi-pro.
Yeah, they've just added 3 new players as well who are coming in for the National League, and they're organised and Paul and Ecor and the staff there have done a great job with the players. You've got to keep them all happy, which is the hard one.
And we've still got that Nelson connection there. Matt Todd Smith.
Oh, we've got
Riley
Grover, Scott Morris,
Scotty Morris,
James McClay.
James McClay's back in Ireland.
He's gone back home.
Luca Molnar's there now as well.
Oh, is he?
Yep. So there's 5 or 6 Nelson boys.
So I was talking to Corey Vickers, and he was saying Matt's the captain. Is that right?
Yeah. He currently was on the bench at the week. He's been suffering from a knee injury. So the new O'Driscoll lad, the Irish boy, has been wearing the armband for the last few weeks. But Matt is the team captain.
Fantastic, eh?
But I'll tell you, I watched you guys play them in that game, and I think I was talking to Alex. And Young got sent off.
Yeah, no.
You guys are right in it.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
It was just that left winger, the lad on the left too.
McClelland, the Scottish lad.
Yeah, he set up the first one, and then it sort of Young got sent off, and it just sort of against a side like that, you need your full complement of players.
You need everyone. You need firstly, you need 11 players on the pitch.
Exactly.
and you
does help.
And you need everyone to perform. And you did right. And there's been a few games like that for us, really. It's against Tech, and we look forward to having another go at them. But and Christchurch United, but they're just the strength off the benches is where they're a good starting 11. Plus they've got players that come on and make a game and change game as well, which is
Big game tomorrow at Saxon Field with the day off. Good chance to go out and support the lads. Nelson Suburbs taking on Green Island, and ahead of them on the table. But what are your thoughts going to this game, Skippy?
Yeah, again, we went down there. I think it was third game of the season. We won 4-2, but it wasn't that comfortable. We made it hard for ourselves. So Green Island they're like all the southern teams. They work hard, so we've got to make sure we match that. But on paper, we should have enough to beat them, and we have to perform, and if we don't, then we won't win. If we do perform, we should win. So it's up to us.
Neil, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, totally agree. We've been playing really well lately, to be fair to the lads. They've, we can't fault them. Just some things haven't gone our way in the odd game, but funny team to play against. Green Island, as Skip says, hardworking, physical. But look, our place at home on a decent deck, because their pitch down there is not great, and they kind of they play to those conditions, but on a good pitch at Saxons, we should be able to get one over there, I'd say.
Good stuff. Wish you all the best of luck for that. So Christchurch United, Cashmere Technical, Dunedin City Royals leading the way. And on that note, just your general thoughts about the season. How's it gone so far? What are you looking forward to? And I guess a bit of a stepping stone on to next season. So tell us about the journey so far. Anyone?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. No, it's been good. Like the boys started middle of January, so they've been in a long time already. Yeah. So their commitment's been brilliant. We haven't been miles away, which is good. We've changed the way we play slightly, and it's taken the boys a while to adapt to it. And with that, you get teething problems. But I think they're getting there, and you can see it now when we're playing. We're playing a little bit more confidence, probably playing a little bit more braver on the ball, and that's what we want. So we don't want to just be in the league just to make up the numbers and sit in and defend. We want to go and play good football and put teams under pressure. And we have done. We were 4-1 up against Tech 2 weeks ago, which is a hard one to take. We lost 5-4. We were 3-1 up again against Dunedin last week, and we came back. So the draws probably haven't been great for points total. I think we've drawn 4 now so far this season, which if we turn them into points, then we're even.
Well, they dropped points. So you dropped 2. There's 8 points there.
Yeah.
So just looking at your 4 losses, as you said, Tech 5-4, Tech at home 3-1.
Jordan got sent off that day as well.
Yeah. Who are the other 2 losses against?
Christchurch United, man sent off. Yeah. And then, to be fair, we went down with a very young side for the Selwyn game, which didn't.
Yeah, that's those are the games, But to be fair, we did go down. I think it was about 6-7 players made their debut in that game.
Season.
Very young side, it was. But after that, the boys have bounced back. They've been brilliant. Can't fault them in any way.
So the problem you had was the import, didn't he? He turned up and he couldn't play. Was it Connor Gillespie?
Yeah, Connor was here for 4 weeks, but because his club wouldn't release him, so we had a bit of a problem with that, but we got it sorted.
Yeah.
But even before that, before Connor got here, we were doing well. But as I said, it's fine margins in that league, and games that you should win end up being draws. I
always find, mate, the most important part of a season is the start.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got to be. You got to be fit. You got to be ready to go, injury free. The weather's good then. You get those 3 or 4 wins in a row. Yeah, just sets you up. And if you drop a couple, it's hard work, especially in this league because it's only 10 teams.
Yep,
it's 18 games. So
done.
Well, we'll talk more about the the rest of the season and going into next season a bit later. Right now, overseas news, and you may have some inside information, but what I was able to pick up, Aston Villa have announced the signing of Spain centre back Torres from Villarreal and £31.5 million.
Drop in the ocean, really, isn't it?
Well, I think Unai, the manager was here, wasn't he?
Villarreal, yeah. So he knows him quite well.
He knows him quite well, so makes sense.
And Aston Villa, I mean, they had big plans, didn't they? Just things not really going according to plan. But they've all reports where they're pouring a lot of money into the setup, and
they got rid of Gerrard, and things came right.
Yes,
so I don't know. They're a massive club.
Yeah,
like one of the big clubs in England, to be honest, from Birmingham. So, they did it right in the end.
Yeah, I think they went well. Yeah,
they made Europe in the end.
Yeah, when Umre came in, he sort of they were a little bit more structured, and I think he did really, really well. Gerrard sort of I think it was a step too soon for him. Yeah, to be honest.
I think it's just so difficult in that league. You get Aston Villa spending 31.5 million, and you're not guaranteed even a place in Europe.
Yeah, no,
it's just insane. And you get Newcastle. You've obviously got the top ones, Man City. Liverpool. It's
what's going on at Chelsea. I just can't.
Well, they're just selling everyone at the moment because they have to.
Right. The season's a month away, and they're just flicking players off left, right, and centre. It's just
I don't know what's good there. I think they're after the Brighton midfielder, that Caicedo. They're after him, the defensive midfielder, quite a bit, and I think they're putting all their eggs in one basket with him, to be honest. So
a lot of players there, though.
Yeah, they have
a lot of players.
Yeah, two sides. They're big squad, haven't they?
Unbelievable.
Podge's definitely got a job there. Pochettino, it's a big job. It's a big job.
Yeah, but to be fair to him, I think he'd be up to that. He's done a really good job when he was at Tottenham. In the difficult circumstances. So he's got a job on his hands. But
you imagine having 25 egos of players that all think they're all first team players. They all want to play. How do you manage that?
I know, crazy,
honestly,
insane.
Yep,
it would probably do me head in.
Yep,
but
you'd love the training though.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't have to do anything. Exactly.
Just be nice having 25.
You'd enjoy training because they'll be knocking around.
Yeah, that's right.
We'd drive a man to drink. I tell you. But no.
Fulham rejected a £25 million bid from Saudi Pro League. There's the Saudis. They're coming in to clean up, aren't they? Al Hilal. That was for the striker Alexander Mitrovic. So you don't want to lose Mitrovic, do you? You want him in the side.
I think money talks at the end of the day. Speaking of, I'm a Celtic supporter, but Jota, fantastic young Portuguese player, 2 years at Celtic. He's on 35 grand a week at Celtic tops, and the Pro League come in and he's on 190k a week out there, just so,
in the Saudi league.
Yes, but it's 190k. It's just insane. And you get Gerrard out there. You've got who was the other coach that just
Conte's gone out there.
Conte's gone play. Other players, Robbie Fowler's gone out to Division 2 because they've paid the coach out there. So, but it's crazy. And the crazy thing is, I was reading this morning before I came here. He's came out and says he wants to go, which is the worst thing. He's came out and said he wants to go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Fowler.
No,
Mitrovic.
He wants to go.
He's came out and says he wants to go, which is just ridiculous because you have all the money in the world, but if you want to play at the top level and you're worried about as a player, then he can't say he's moving there for that.
And then what? And then what do the fans say to that?
Oh, it's crazy stuff. It's crazy.
Stuff. I mean, you need him. Fulham needs him because of what he brings to it, but they didn't have him for a while. And
you want players like that in the Premier League.
Yeah, you do.
It's the greatest league in the world. So if you players start going for the money, it's just going to dilute the football in Europe. To be honest.
But you're out of that Saudi league. It's not. I don't even think it's televised. No, I don't even know what they have. So the guys are going out there. They're going to get paid. They're going to set themselves up, but. Everyone wants to play in the Premier League, or they want to play in the Champions League, and that's the top of the whole tree, really. So they might go out a couple of years, come back. A lot of them are still quite young. Yeah, come back in, and but it's just.
I think we had it a few years ago when Japan started paying silly money, or the Chinese league. I can't remember which one it was, because remember Chelsea lost Oscar for like 75 million to the Japanese or Chinese club, and then it all fell apart after a couple of seasons. But even Lazio's captain's left. Lazio, the Savic, the midfielder, he's left. He's gone to Saudi Arabia, and these boys are in the prime.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's rumours that they're trying to become a Champions League team, and it's just crazy. And I don't know if you've seen what's happened with the golf and the tennis with Saudi. Live golf and that. Yeah. They're literally trying to get everything.
Yeah.
And they've got to be very careful that the likes of the Premier League and that need to be very careful that they don't ruin it.
Yeah, well, they probably need to sign these guys up and say, well, this is what it's all. I don't know. How are you going to do it? It's
lock them in.
As you say, money talks.
Money talks, yeah.
England beat Spain 1-0 in the final to win the under-21 Euros. Haven't done that since 1984, and you'd have to say good side.
Well, you look at the side.
Yeah.
Mostly Premier League players.
Yeah.
And didn't concede a goal. I see Carsley's the coach, wasn't he?
Yes.
Everton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a good squad of players. I wonder
and actually, Scotland doing pretty well in the Euro qualifiers too, aren't they?
Fantastic. It's just not like us at all. It's just, they're not used to that. But I mean, they're 4 from 4. In a couple of we got tough. We've got to go away to Spain and play away in Spain. Up with obviously tough. I think it's Cyprus, another away game, and who's the other team in now we got? Can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, look, you probably need one more win, and that's them. Qualified. So it's just when I was growing up, it was Scotland always qualified. It was the 80s. They always qualified. European Championships we used to have, and had the home internationals and that going. Then it was a great tournament in the UK, and they've qualified for World Cups. All the time. And then we went through, I think it was about 20 years, and then we got back to World Cup now. And, to be fair to Stevie Clarke, he's done a fantastic job there. The players love going to camp, from what I hear. And it's got more like a club-based thing with the players. Tight group, lots of depth, a lot of players playing at a high level, Premiership, and so fair play to them. Good luck to them.
The games I've seen them play, they leave it on the park.
So they leave everything on there.
Jesus.
Leave everything on there.
Yeah.
And you get guys that turn up that don't necessarily like McTominay. And it's been outstanding for him.
Yeah. He plays better there than he does for Man United.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Robertson, John McGinn.
Yeah.
Good footballers, so they should be with the players they got. But
Tierney, is he there?
Kieran Tierney's there. Yeah. Kieran Tierney's been injured, but he's back in.
Johnny McGinn.
John McGinn, mate. Yeah, John McGinn. He's
a lot of Premier League players there that play week in, week out. So
playing at a very
you get them together. Good team spirit.
Robertson, obviously, as I said, but very good. Really, I can't wait for us to qualify.
What's your colours, Skippy? Are you
Northern Ireland?
You're the Northern.
We're going through a transitional period. we just lost at home to Kazakhstan, so we're in the different. But again, to be fair to the old coach O'Neill's came back, and to be fair, he's trying to bleed the young lads, and it's hard. My nephew always tells me he goes to all the home games at Windsor, and he says when they're bad, and it hasn't been great lately, but.
Yeah, they're good run.
They'll bounce back.
Yeah, we got to I think we were in the last Euros. Yeah. No, sorry, the one before we qualified. And but I think it'll be a few years before we're back looking to get back into.
Who's the most famous Northern Ireland player? The only one I can remember is Norman Whiteside.
George Best.
Oh, of course,
George Best.
Come on, Brady.
Jesus,
Brady. He could beat 3 men with a bottle of whiskey in his pocket, mate.
Yeah, but then it used to be Northern Ireland and then Erie. There was
we've still got
still a Republic.
Ireland, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Northern Ireland's smaller than New Zealand.
Yeah.
So, and we've produced some really good football.
Yeah, very much so. New Zealand football news on that subject. The Ferns sign off the World Cup prep, a 2-0 win against Vietnam in Napier, McLean Park, heading into the FIFA Women's World Cup. So finally, some goals in the back of the net and a result. So that'll boost them going in there. So, well, let's talk about it now. The draw's not far away. The first game, it's kick-off next week. New Zealand taking on Norway. What are your thoughts going into that?
Yeah, tough one to get up. But just firstly, it's just great to have it in New Zealand, isn't it? And Australia, it's just brilliant for the whole of Australasia. Massive tournament. Just looking, I was hearing on the radio actually, it's like a bit of a struggle with ticket sales in New Zealand, which is unfortunate. So, New Zealand football needs just do something about that and just go around schools and get the kids in there.
Just push them out.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Just print some tickets and there's 5,000. Have them.
Yeah, just fill the grounds up, get the kids in there, and that's how you get kids.
I got a funny feeling that during that first match, sometimes tournaments build. It has been a slow build up, but I think once the Kiwis actually see the girls on the park and they actually see them perform, because they probably a lot of them haven't even watched a full match of the Ferns playing. So the fact that if they go close or get a good result against Norway, hopefully everyone gets behind them, and they, it's only $20-$30 a ticket.
I'm going to a couple of the games with the wife. We're going up to watch a few of the games. Speaking to my friend who's involved with it, I think a lot of the low numbers are in Hamilton, so probably not well known enough for its women's football, especially. And that's where a lot of it, I think, is low, is in those sort of regions where it's not so big. Can't believe Christchurch isn't hosting any. I don't know. I don't know how they missed the boat. It's been a strong hub with the Mainland Pride for the last 5-10 years.
Well, I think a lot to do with it is you got to get your council involved. Like Nelson City Council didn't want to do one here, and I thought they'd have a go. And it's probably the same in Christchurch because, you want a place like that. But at least it's better than the Rugby World Cup they played in Auckland and Whangarei. At least where I'm taking it around.
Exactly.
Moving around. Is there games in Dunedin?
Yeah. Dunedin have got a few, they've got
Hamilton, Wellington, Auckland. So it's
Eden Park,
Yeah. That's
Are we going to make the 16?
It's a tough one. Yeah, that's a very
tough one. That first game against Norway, if they get something out of that, then they got Philippines, which they're a bit like Vietnam, very beatable. I'm not sure who the last game's against. Switzerland, they'll be tough.
Yeah, Switzerland have got a few.
So they got a tough one. Yeah. But like we said earlier, if you get off to a good start and girls get get people behind them and bit of confidence going, you just never know. To get that first one's a vital one. So to get that one out of the way, they got to get something from that game. As Philippines would expect. And then it's all on for the last one. So you just never know.
I watched them the other night against Vietnam, and these guys coaching. We played very narrow, which I don't mind. If you're playing against good sides, as long as you got your back four, the way she sets up, the spaces out there, we'll let them have that space. So they can't get through you down the middle. And they actually played really some good football going through. So the transition was really good. And they got a couple of goals because prior to that, they hadn't scored many. So as long as they can keep it tight and get them on the break and pinch one, anything can happen. So, but it was interesting to see how they set up, and they do play very, very narrow.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that would have been in preparation for Norway.
Yeah,
and being under pressure.
Yeah,
but as Brady said, they looked a lot better than they have in the path going forward. And the young girl Hans came back into the squad and on the left side, and she looks lively. And I think she can. Yeah, I think she could get a few goals in the tournament.
Percival in midfield, she worked her socks off. She looked really, really busy. So I'm not sure about the big girl up front, Hannah Wilkinson. But you got a girl like that, you want to be. One of your plans is really get the ball in the box so she can get on the end of it.
Yeah, and get somebody working off her as well.
Well, that's right. Yeah. But we tend to be trying to play through teams. It's a wee bit, but they've got that option. So at least she's got something to work with. So.
And it was great to see Hannah Longo back on the pitch after being off.
She did really, really well when she came on.
Yeah, she ruptured her ACL last year, so she came back and to be back on the fields. Testament for her rehab that she did, because we know her quite well, that she worked quite hard. So
and Olivia Chance, she just had a little bit of an injury as well. She's got herself back in there, so
it's good.
Yeah, so apart from the Ferns, who's going to win it?
Well, you probably have the Americans, the Chinese. Yeah,
England won the Euros.
Yeah, they'll be there.
I think they're missing one or two, though, aren't they? There's one
ACLs, a couple
of injuries.
It's quite funny. We had Geezer on a few weeks. Didn't even mention England.
No.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
Yeah, so it's different as well. I mean, in the man's game, it's a little bit different. You can maybe afford to lose one or two top players, and you've still got a little bit. But with the women, it's slightly different. Take one or two of the stronger players out, and it kind of probably weakens the side a little bit. But I can't see past the Americans really. They're strong, and I think they're
professional league.
Yeah, and she's just said it's going to be a last tournament. The captain, and they'll be wanting to do it for her as well and go out on high, I would say so. There should be some good games, so I'm looking forward to watching it. It's the good thing is we don't have to go up at 4:00 in the morning to watch a game of football.
That's right.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, I'm going Australia.
I think
with the home
out of the bag.
Yeah, I think home support. I think their fans will get behind them over there, and they've got some good players. If Kerr comes out playing, she's probably one of the best strikers in the world. So if they can get their top players playing well, I think with the fans, which will make a huge difference over there.
Yeah. And they've had a good build up.
They have, they'll be hard to beat. Yeah, I really do.
And they've packed the grounds out.
They're sold out.
Yeah.
And I think the last time they played US, I think it was 2-1 to the US, so it's a lot tighter. I think, I think the home support will be a big thing for Australia.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, it'd be good to have a World Cup in the Southern Hemisphere, wouldn't it? The All Whites to face Socceroos. It's for an historic Soccer Ashes trophy. It's this October in London. The All Whites will play the Socceroos for the recently rediscovered Soccer Ashes trophy. The historic prize thought lost until April this year. I don't know how you can lose it, but the match is on Tuesday, 17th of October, 2023. And that will see the legendary trophy put on the line for the first time since 1954. So we've lost it since 1954. No one can find it. Put it in a cupboard somewhere.
Yeah.
It's housed in an elaborate wooden casket and constructed from the combination of rewa rewa and Australian maple. The trophy contains the ashes of cigars smoked by Australian captain Alex Gibb and the New Zealand captain George Campbell. I didn't know George was playing back then. Following the first meeting between the two nations in Australia, June 1923.
Yeah.
So how's that?
That's a fantastic
Someone
story.
just opened the cupboard one day and went, oh, there it is.
What a great story behind it, you know.
Yeah.
Why is it in London?
Well, I suppose that's where all the players are based, aren't they?
Well, no.
And Australia are already there because Australia are playing England because we're going to see it the week before.
Right.
So they're already there. So
Okay. So like going forward, I think it's a great thing, you know, and and all whites need to be playing better opposition, you know.
Yes.
And they're kind of trying to do that at the moment. I think it'd be great if you could do it in Sydney and in Auckland and whatever.
Oh, look, we should be playing Australia a lot more.
Yeah.
And I'm even open to the idea of just playing like A-League based players or New Zealand based players. Like in the old days when the days that I played for the All Whites, we used to have games like that. It was just basically picked on National League players.
Yeah.
And
Give
even
them an
A-League players.
opportunity.
Well, it does. You can call it Australia A, New Zealand A. It doesn't really matter.
still do that in the UK.
Yeah, they should be doing it a lot more. Obviously, that one's going to be the full squads, which is great. We're looking forward to that game, but we just need to play them more, whether it's A-League based players, New Zealand based National League players, getting more opportunity to play on the big stage.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's so hard to get together 4 times a year and try to be competitive. It's so again just because of where we are, and it is hard. So I do agree with that. I think England do it. They've got an England Day, and I think Ireland still do it as well. And they play during the season and get the players in from the local leagues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
New Zealand have beaten host Fiji in Suva to win the OFC Under-19 Women Championship, and that's for the 8th time, and that confirms their place in the 2024 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Colombia. 7-0, 3-0 at halftime. So well done, girls, but probably expected.
Yeah.
Although Fiji would have been tougher opposition, but the scoreline doesn't suggest that.
As I've said in the past, it's the beauty of us playing in the Oceania area. We get qualification for these tournaments, so it's a great opportunity for young guys to, even like someone at Suburbs, you've got an opportunity if you're young and good to actually go to a World Cup.
Yeah, which would be amazing.
You know,
we've had them in the past, haven't we?
Yeah, if we had to go through like Australia, go through Asia, very difficult.
Yeah.
So
Just on that, a shout out Ella McCann from FC Nelson was part of that squad.
Oh wow!
I'm not sure, so she was part of that squad. So well done to Ella.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good luck in the World Cup.
You're with Football Focus, and our very special guests are Ryan Skippy Stewart and Neil Connell. I don't know if you got a nickname, Neil, but
he's got a few to play. It's all right.
You're co-coaches of Nelson Suburbs Southern League men's team, and Skippy, you're also heavily involved in the Suburbs club itself from the organisational point of view. But first of all, from each of you, tell us about where did you start playing and where you're from?
Yeah, so I'm originally from a little town in Northern Ireland, outside Londonderry. Started sort of playing football late. Actually, I didn't start playing. I was about 9 or 10. I was just a kid running around the estate, just enjoying myself, and ended up got into it at school, and then it went on from there. And I played for my local club, Limavady Youths, from a young age. Then went up and joined Madison Soccer School, which was based in Derry, which is more of a high performance one, and played there for a while, and then went back to play for my hometown in the Irish Premier League, which was pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty special to play for my town. So
yes,
yeah. So
how'd you get to come to New Zealand?
Yeah, so it's a funny one because I get asked it all the time. We had a young lad from New Zealand actually training with us at Limavady United, and how it came about, there was our physio Jackie Humphreys was based 6 months in Northern Ireland, 6 months in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
So he brought this kid back with him the 1 year he came back. So Hugh Frame was his name. He was at Fairmead Bay. He played for Canterbury United. And he sort of didn't really have that many mates and stuff because he came over. So he sort of hung around with me and a couple of other players. And long story short, we went out one night and we had a few jars. And Alan Walker, who's now the coach of Fairmead Bay, was coaching Coastal Spirit at the time, got on the phone and asked me would I like to come and play football in New Zealand. I booked my flight that night. and rang my mum the next day and said, I'm moving to New Zealand in 2 weeks. I've signed a year contract with Coastal Spirit Football Club. And pretty much that was it.
The rest is history.
Yeah. So, and I got here, and it was a bit new to me when I first got, because I'd been to Europe and stuff, but I'd never been so far away from home. And but my mum said it was a great opportunity and said I needed to do it. So I went and done it, and haven't looked back since, to be honest.
What about you, Neil?
Very similar. Just playing locally in Glasgow, school football, played for my local team. Played in a good league, actually. We used to have, back then it was like the boys' clubs, so you had Leeds United Boys Club, you had Motherwell, you had Celtic, all them kind of teams and that. So the odd time you could get to play against them, and you played in your local area kind of league as well. So played there for, most part of my youth till I was about 17. Had a chance to go to a boys' club and sort of rejected at the time for various different reasons, personal reasons. Joined the Navy at 17, representing the Navy for football. Played in some amazing places, played in Russia, Ukraine, both completely different from where they were now, all over the Caribbean, Mexico, America, Europe. So I wouldn't have had that opportunity, So I played football in the Navy, and I was based in Portsmouth, and then started playing down the non-league football in Portsmouth. Playing against, it was a decent level, it was non-league stuff, but it was enjoyable, and did that until I moved to New Zealand.
So how did it come about coming here?
Came out for a holiday with my wife, actually. Her father was here. He was living in Picton, came out, visited him. Just enjoyed it. At the time, we were thinking about leaving the UK anyway. Both were in the Navy, both just leaving. And we actually came back and put in a business plan. Well, my wife did. I'll give her the credit. And then we moved out a year later, started our own business out in New Zealand, out in Picton, importing furniture, and had a retail store. Didn't play football for a while, then started playing again for Marlborough, got back into it. And then we were Nelson. Nelson Div 1's a great league then, we had good battles against Richmond and Nelson Suburbs. I think you and Slotsy maybe coaching then, but I can't remember, you were coaching maybe the NPL team, but so Ben Wright, Jordan Young, all playing for Richmond at the time. Dan Mason Smith, really good side, and so played there until I moved over to Nelson.
Right. And so Nelson Club, so you've been at Suburbs for a while now, but prior to that, other clubs that you played for in Nelson?
Yep. Myself, I played for FC Nelson. As I said, I played for Marlborough for many years, and I think it was around the time we were talking about it just off air, about like when the clubs amalgamated.
Yes.
And Biggsy took over. He left Richmond, took over FC Nelson, and put a very good side together, to be fair to him. There's myself, Davy.
That was the first year they formed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the first year,
2011, I think.
Yeah, there was myself, Nathan. Yeah, it was, Nathan Jeffries, Henry Farodo, Moffat Khalifa, very, very strong side, and we won it. I was captain. I was lucky enough to be captain that year. We won it. And then the year after that, I think Paul tapped me in the shoulder to go with Suburbs.
I think you turned up Sunday.
Skippy,
again, as I said, they brought me over from Coastal Spirit, brought me over from Christchurch.
He met a nice girl.
So I'm married to Biggsy's daughter, Chelsea Bignell, and she was playing for Canterbury Pride at the time when I was playing for Coastal, and we started seeing each other. Biggsy was there at the time. He was coaching Fairmead Bays. So I walked in to get a haircut one day, and I was telling all the lads about this girl I was dating, and didn't realise it was his daughter. But glad he wasn't cutting my hair that day. Someone else.
Chop your ear off.
So we decided her family moved back up to Nelson, and we had a business opportunity to open a retail store here. So we decided, I spoke to Gary Hinks at the Mainland Awards night and sort of told him that I was coming up to Nelson and needed to get a club, and spoke to Brady pretty much after that, and then came to training, and been there ever since.
So you've always played locally for Suburbs, is that right?
Always, yeah.
Oh, right,
and Tasman when we had Tasman United.
Yes, of course. Okay, so transition into coaching. So what happened? Too many pulled hammies, or?
Yeah, bit of that.
How do you get into coaching? How did that come about for you guys?
For me, it's something I've always been interested in. I've been lucky enough to work with some really good coaches. Brady's one of them locally, of course. People have got different views of the game, so it's brilliant to learn off all different. There's no wrong or rights. There's taking bits and pieces from each coach to try to create yourself. And I worked under Tommy Wright, who's now was coaching at Kilmarnock last year, but he got sacked from Kilmarnock. He was St Johnstone before that. Played for Northern Ireland. He was at Man City, Newcastle for a long time, and he was probably the coach that I looked at going, do you know what, I wouldn't mind being a coach. And I've kept in touch with him ever since. If I've got any questions, I always message him. And it's just that got me into it. And the game always changes. So it's like a game of chess, as some people say. And it's good. It's exciting. And once I got excited by it, I thought I knew that was the time because the football was getting hard. To get fit and
that's right.
get fit for every game.
Although Brodie's always willing to put on the boots.
So
you can't keep him down.
I joined in last night and hurt my knee. but yeah, and that was the thing. I got excited by it, and it was more. I like that more than playing now. So that was the time to do it.
Yeah. What about for you, mate?
I got started getting into it when I was over in Blenheim. Actually, I worked for Mainland Football. Football development officer over there. Alan Walker was my boss at the time, so I got into it over there, just doing schools, FCTs, FTC. It was
FTC,
football training camps.
Changed that name that many times,
and then moved to Nelson. Continued doing that for Nelson-based football. Like George Campbell was in charge at the time, so I continued with that, and then just being at the suburbs, getting too old to play pretty much. A few injuries, but try to keep myself fit, but I had a bad knee injury and that kind of set me back a bit, and you play for a couple of weeks and then you're out and play, and then I just thought, it's just not worth it.
So. How do you, like coaching side of things, I was just saying to Skippy before, a lot of it these days is man management.
Yeah.
It's all about, because you've got all these dealing with players, and obviously you guys are busy because you're full time out there. So, what's the most difficult part of it all?
I think the man management always.
I can't train tonight. I've got a headache.
It does my head, and it can be frustrating. And man management's a big part. And I think that's something Biggsy did very well. So I learned from him and how he dealt with me at times. You know what I mean? Because the players, you just want to play, and there's times that you're left on the bench, or there's times you're left out. It's keeping everyone happy, because you're going to need them at some point. And keeping your whole squad happy is hard, and it is the difficult one. Putting on sessions is easy, but it's making sure that the engagement's there. Because one player might go, you didn't play me last week, so now I've got a problem with you. And it happens. Like last night, we had an issue where two boys just haven't turned up. We've planned our whole session, getting ready for tomorrow.
And that's why you had to join in. So
I had to join in, but it's hard, and it is. And you got to remember, these boys are amateurs, so it's a big commitment from them as well. But it is the hardest part of the game. I really do think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Nelson Suburbs. Skippy, one day you said to yourself, I need to do something here. I don't know. I just remember you being involved, and all of a sudden all these initiatives started coming into play. So no disrespect to all the hard work that had been put in, especially with people like Colsey and all those guys for years had put, his whole family, put years and years of energy into that club. But at times, you get worn out, it's a lot of time and energy. But I just remember a season, and you must have said to yourself, we can really get some pride into this club, or it needs something. And although the club has always operated at a high level, but you saw something, and now it just seems to have gone right across the club onto another stratosphere.
It was a great club. I think it was a lot of timing as well. The club were in a position where they could bring me in full time, and because it's hours at the end of the day. You put hours in, and people for the past have built a foundation which just needed a little bit of a lift. And to be fair, the biggest thing that I found when I got to Suburbs was there's a bit divide between the seniors and the juniors, and the club culture wasn't there. And being from Ireland and being at clubs, it's a big thing back home. It's everyone's at the clubhouse, and it's bringing everyone together. So we had all the right people there, and we just needed to sort of all go in the right direction. And it's been good. It's been a bit of a challenge at times, but again, we've got the good staff out there and good members that do help. And we're trying to drive footballers in Nelson, because we are Nelson. We're not just a little tiny part of Nelson. We are Nelson. So we've got some talented footballers that have came out of this town. So we just got to keep doing it. And it's not for the glory, but Paul Eiffel always told me it's for the shirts on the wall. Those kids send the shirts back. They started here, and they started at. They're all different clubs, had different parts. And it's like young Patrick Keys. He was at Nelson Suburbs. Then he went to Richmond. Then he went back to Nelson Suburbs. But now he's in the States. Yeah. So Richmond have played a part in that. Well, we've just got to, as suburbs, we are the Southern League team. We are so-called the biggest club. So we have to showcase that and make sure that we've got the opportunities for the players to do it.
So the current setup of the Southern League, do you think that works? Top two, my personal opinion was Colin Tour.
Well, I think it's better than what it was beforehand.
Well,
when
it certainly was. Colin Tour was part of this group, and he actually asked me, "What did you think?" I said, "Well, it needs to go back to winter. It needs to be a club competition." But I still believe that the National League should be played in winter. Then everyone gets a chance.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
There is something going around. We heard about it. There's a big meeting up in New Zealand football.
Yeah.
I think it was a month ago. One of our committee members went up. So the plan long term is to have a Southern National League conference that goes all winter, and then there's a championship underneath it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a long term plan, and I think they see that because I agree with it. I think it is. It should be an all year round one competition.
It just gives everyone an opportunity. It's like FC Nelson. For us to get there, we've got to win our local league, and that's another question I was going to ask you. Can Nelson warrant another team in the Southern League?
I think it's a tough one. We struggle to put out just one side, and of course you've got these other rules. You've got play under 20 players. You've got it's different from one. There's only four. You're only allowed 4 foreign players in the squad.
Yeah, cut that down. That used to be 6.
And is it one Oceania?
Yeah, Oceania's been cut down to 1 as well.
It would be difficult. We find it difficult just to get one side out to compete. So to get 2 out, I mean, it'd been fantastic. It'd be great for us. We don't have to travel.
I just remember years ago when I think Richmond were in it and suburbs were in it.
Yeah.
And those derby games.
Oh, big days.
They were big days.
They were, some of those crowds are on par with the old National League days, Nelson United.
Yeah.
So, but from memory, a lot of that Richmond side weren't guys that, were local. There were a few local, but there was quite a few guys who had moved to the region, or we got into the region.
Well, you had that Mr. Whitley with all the money. That invisible money. But there wasn't really any money.
No.
I've never met this guy, but all I've heard he had a Hummer and a briefcase. That's all.
And he had 2
bodyguards.
That's all I've heard.
Benjamin Tuttori. They had all these.
I turned up to Jubilee Park, the practice around there. I'd come back from Aussie, because I used to play for Richmond before I went to Aussie, and I came back, and there was this guy standing over there with 2 security guards, and I said to Simon, "Who's that?" And he goes, "Well, that's Whitley." And then all of a sudden, I walk into the club rooms, and Simo's in there by himself, saying, "Bit of an issue. All the money's gone," and unfortunately, all the players went with it, and that
was the end of that.
I can tell you this: Darren Cunningham stayed for the rest of the season.
Good on him.
Ups to Cunny.
Yeah.
And we had to fight to stay in the league because otherwise, if we pulled out, they may not be invited back in.
Yeah.
And gracefully got beaten, and relegated with the view that they could come back, and they almost did, but financially they decided that they'll stick with development. So, and FC's got the same, goals, I'm sure, but the difficulty is money. For the travel and then, as you say, player resource. And if you're going to restrict the amount of players that you can come in, then we have got limited resource.
Well, it is cost equalised now, so it's not. It is a little bit easier, I would say, financially.
Right.
Whereas before in the NPL, when it was just suburbs, we had to fund that. It was just come down to us. So it is cost equalised, so that helps. Same as the women's one. But just going back to your point there, just the only thing I think that the National League if they go with National League and a Championship's the way to go, because it's slightly unfair that we get 2 spots, Wellington Phoenix get a spot.
Guaranteed spot.
So I think a fair thing would be, 3 spots down here. I mean, Wellington Phoenix should be qualifying for that. They're full-time professional academy. So, it's that's the only thing. So I think to go to that format would really help. And who's to say that might lead the way for another team from Nelson to get into the Championship some way and then get up. And if they get up, they deserve to be up.
So the current standard of football, locally and Southern League, is it improved or is it static? I just think it could be better.
Our hardest problem as well is we got to remember we lose our best players. 1 to the university because they want to go to a big city and get a qualification. True. 1 to the US. Our older players are getting older. So it is hard, and every club's the same. Who's here? That's the first question you ask.
Yeah.
And then you're going from there. So I think it's hard, not just for us, but for every club in general. I know Richmond lost 11 players, I think, last season from the Division 1 team to uni. That's massive.
Yeah.
To recoup that, it's a hard job.
You're always hoping some Brazilian backpacker or Argentinian might just show up.
Exactly. You're limited
out of the blue.
You're only limited to 4 of them now.
You're
like
exactly.
So
Yeah,
it has got harder.
Yeah, true.
It has got harder. And it's good because that gives you the 16s and 17-year-olds. That's brilliant to get the opportunity.
Yeah.
But in the back of your mind, they're gone in 6 months now.
Yeah.
Very
difficult.
Then you got to start again.
Yeah.
So it is hard.
It's just trying to make sure we keep people in the game here, though.
Exactly. And that's it.
That's what worries me is that it's the same old stuff, and I won't play this year.
Yeah.
So it's trying to keep them driven and
and giving them the opportunities at grassroots. The junior development programs, the tournaments in Christchurch. That friendship. It in other sports, when we talk to other sports, it's about all the mates that you meet, and and I think that's a large part of it. And if you can go through those experiences together right through to the top league, that's what keeps people in the game, and it's those club cultures, isn't it?
Well, I think you're always going to get the kids. Look, the numbers are good.
Yeah, very good at the moment.
If you compare it to rugby, look at Nelson Rugby Club. I'm not picking on rugby. They got 2 senior teams. FC's got 8 or 9. Suburbs, you got lots.
Yeah.
Wakefield's got 3 or 4. So people are playing the game, but just can we make it better?
Yeah,
and that's the question I was asking. So,
and that's good, and that's something that the clubs need to sit down and we need to do it together.
And we've got to train and work harder.
Make sure that we make a good competition that people want to be part of. Because local football's where it's at. To be honest, it's the grassroots of it. So talking about Connie, I was watching him train last night for the Masters. He's still in the game, but that's what you want.
Yes.
So I do think we do need to rejuvenate it and have a look at it all together as clubs and especially target the local stuff and trying to improve it.
Plus coaches, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of coaches that are prepared to put the time in.
Yeah.
Especially at a senior level, it's just like I don't have to I've got a coach and this.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I think this is the longest recorded podcast in history.
We sat here for another hour.
Yeah,
but however, yes, that's what I was going to say. It's been really, really interesting, guys, and a great chat and a great yarn to have you guys in. And as you say, we could talk football all afternoon, but they'll probably kick us out soon. It'll be closing time.
Well, they'll probably just stay here and carry on.
Carry on.
Got no training tonight.
But,
no, exactly. They'll be
fantastic with the work that you're doing with the game development programs that you're running. You're out there this morning taking the kids. Fantastic. Great work with the club and fantastic all the work and effort you're putting into the Southern League men and supporting the women's game. Good on you guys and really appreciate your time. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having us again.
Just mention quickly, Golden Tout tomorrow. Big game, FC Chin United versus Killarney.
Oh, yeah.
The derby.
Oh, yeah.
The derby.
Will be the derby.
There'll be a good crowd of that.
It's for the Community Cup as well they play for, and they get big crowds.
Big crowd.
500 or 600 down at Victory Square tomorrow. And some good players, the Boo Pan, Tang Tang and those guys.
Yeah, I was talking to the goalkeeper actually that I work with him and was talking to him about the game and they're really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So that'll be a tough one to call. What's your prediction there, Paul?
Who won the last one?
Karini, but I know the Chins are hurting.
Yeah,
because they can't beat them. But and I think the local Steamers play Golden Bay Mountain Goats as well. Oh, good.
Yeah. So that's 1:00 Victory Square for that game, and then the other one is Neil Park. So cool. All right, good stuff. Thanks, Roddy.
No worries.
All the best, mate. And we'll talk to everyone again next week.
No worries.
Thanks.
What's on, where, and when? It's the Talk of Nelson. Talk Nelson Radio.